Hi, it's Scott Orban, PGA Golf Professional, here with a little swing analysis. In the bottom frame of our screen, I'm just going to play this swing, and this is James Hedgecock. He is a national track cyclist, and you can see that this guy has some strength. Probably hits the ball a ton. But I understand James wants a little more consistency off the tee, has a tendency to pull the ball left. And when we're pulling the ball left, then we're trying to correct it sometimes, and that'll end up to a push, and of course, sometimes we'll hit it straight, but there's just not that consistency. So how can we help him? On the top frame, we have Patrick Cantlay, and he is a PGA touring professional who is an outstanding player on the tour. And I've drawn a couple little red lines on their shaft just to be able to give us a point of reference as we go through. So because James pulls it to the left, well, this happens to so many golfers. Basically, is he coming over the top, or does he have a closed club face? Well, it's usually a little bit of both, but if you're coming over the top with a square club face, of course it'll go left. If you're coming over if you're even on plane and you just have a closed club face, it's going to go left. James has a little bit of both of that going on. But what I want to focus on is his takeaway, the takeaway in the top of his swing. And I'm just going to get you to take a look at the bottom frame here, and I'm just going to have him start to swing the club back. And you can see that he comes in and underneath that, pulling the club, we'll call it a little bit flat. And you can just watch his shoulder line change. Just watch how he comes here and his shoulders start to get a little more parallel to the ground. All right, I'm going to stop him right there with his hands waist high. Now we're going to take a look at Patrick Cantlay up top. So James has pulled it to the inside, hoping that he's not going to come over the top. Here goes Patrick. We'll get his takeaway happening here. There we go. You see how it just tracks right down and on plane, and at waist high, his club is well out in front of him. And you can take a look at the bottom frame, and you'll see that James has rolled it to the inside. Well, what happens, what I'd like to see James do is I'd like to see him feel like he's taking the club a little more straight back so that he's going to be a little steeper in the golf swing. And you're going to see at the top of the golf swing, so we'll just go to James now. The top of the golf swing, James gets here, and you can see he's pretty flat. He could hit a ball that was well off the ground with that. But Patrick Cantlay, we'll take a look at the top frame. We'll get him to the top of the backswing. And you'll just see the difference in the steepness of this swing. It's not that I want you to have a real steep backswing, but this is just going to allow Patrick to be on line or on plane through that impact zone a little longer. And James from this position has a little bit of a closed club face, and this is the second part that I want him to work on, and that's just softening his transition at the top. Because from this position, just make sure I'm in the right frame with James. Okay, so we get him to the top of the backswing. And I want you to just focus on his hands. Just watch his glove hand there, and I hit frame by frame, and you can see he kind of moves forward with it, okay? That usually comes from a pull of the shoulders, that upper body pulling a little early, and it's not a very soft transition. So there he goes, he pulls over it. Still a real good golf swing, but when he comes down to the golf ball, he's got that closed club face, and you can see the ball flying off to the left, all right? We'll go up to Patrick. And same thing, we just want to focus in on his glove, all right? And I accidentally erased that, but the line, but that's okay. But just let's watch how his hands move. You see how they just fall down, and then they're on plane. And as Patrick comes through this ball, he smokes it down the middle of the fairway. So, James, in a nutshell, let's work on taking back a little straighter, a little more upright, It's going to fall into your hands, and then you're going to allow you to have a little softer transition so that those hands are moving down and on plane, and then you'll stripe it. Good luck, James. James Hedgecock, Olympian, track cyclist. Thanks for being with us today.